Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett now, talk about the forecast as I know you're probably talking about the hurricane as well as what much calmer scene here.
Yeah, it's almost a study in contrast in terms of what we're tracking right now. Just a quick touch on Ian as we've been tracking it. One of the big developments today is once it ejected off of the east coast of Florida, headed out into the open waters of the Atlantic there and reformed as a Category 1 storm. The minimum threshold for a Category 1 storm is 74 miles an hour, and that's right about where it's sitting right there with the center of circulation. Now, what happens next is interesting. It is expected to make landfall somewhere along the Carolinas here. But what really has me concerned about it is that it is sitting, remember, counterclockwise flow around a low is taking a lot of that moisture off the Atlantic and getting ready to spread it all the way up and down the eastern seaboard. I have a really strong feeling that over the next 24 hours, we're going to be tracking some flooding as far north as New York and possibly up towards Washington, D.C. as well. So even though this thing is done lashing Florida and the cleanup is beginning there, it looks like it's a little more power up its sleeve and not quite done yet. It's going to take a couple more days before it finally makes its way out. Meanwhile, we've got a low pressure system that is considerably kinder and calmer. Take a look at this. This is the same one that was sitting off the coast this time last night. Now it has moved off towards the east and is delivering beneficial moisture, especially towards eastern Washington. I'm not crazy about seeing some of that lightning embedded in there, but I don't think that that's going to be a particular problem as long as we're keeping it away from the Cascades. We saw some clouds, we saw some rain in the early morning hours today, but then we saw the sun come out and allowed temperatures to warm into the upper 60s and even some lower 70s across the region, some 72s down towards Olympia and Puyallup. Taking a look at the big picture here, we've got some high pressure that's going to build, and what has me concerned about that is as it moves out here, you remember what's happened the last couple of times, it has warmed and dried. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, we will see some low fog and cloud cover basically over top of South Sound, but then the clearing, the drying, and the warming begin. On paper, it looks fantastic, but what I'm watching here is the wind profile. Remember, whenever high pressure builds here, it always seems to send that flow back offshore again. Current forecast models have those winds not only blowing offshore, but actually picking up on Saturday, possibly getting up to about 20-30 miles an hour and sending some of that wildfire haze back over the mountains again. So we've had a nice respite here, but it looks like going forward, we'll get some of that haze that will start to push back up against the Cascades and possibly up and over them by the time we get into Saturday and possibly on Sunday as well. Overnight lows tonight will be a bit on the fall side. We're going to see some 40s and 50s out there, some more 60s and 70s on the way. And then the 7-day forecast shows temperatures in the low 70s on Friday. We bump up to 80 on Sunday, but there may be some haze in there. We'll keep you posted, and we'll be right back.